Hi, thanks for joining me, Annabella from Bella Yoga. Today's practice, we're just going to focus on bringing a little bit more movement into our practice, into our bodies. If you're like me, these last few weeks, as the weather has started getting colder and rainier, I haven't been out walking or getting some movement in as much as I should be. So today we will just get that going in our practice. So practice you could do in the morning, in the afternoon, whenever you want, whenever you feel you want to just bring in a little bit of movement into your day. So let's get started in a nice comfortable seated position. Doesn't have to be with your legs crossed, whatever feels comfortable for you. If you want to sit on a cushion or a block just to give you a bit more room through the front of your body, we're going to start off just bringing ourselves into our practice with our hands just resting on our lap or on our legs. Our eyes are gently closed, chin's just ever so slightly tucked forward so your neck feels nice and long. And we'll just start slowing down our breath, start relaxing into our bodies, into our mat. Just letting go of any thoughts and just bring that awareness to yourselves, to your body, and to your practice. So just take a few moments to connect back. Noticing your breath slowing down, taking longer inhales, longer exhales. Each new breath, just see if you can lengthen your breath that little bit more. So starting to take the breath more from your belly, really using your diaphragm to its full capacity as you take nice big breaths in and nice long breaths out. Nice full yogic breaths. Bringing calmness to the body, stillness to the mind. And just connecting our mind to our body with our breath. Just feeling, noticing your body relaxing with each new exhale. Just let your body relax that little bit more as you let go of anything that's holding you back, any tension. And just softening and relaxing. Noticing if you are holding on to any tension in your face, just letting your face soften and relax from your forehead all the way around to your jaw. Just let your face relax. Any tension in the shoulders or the arms, just letting them relax. Noticing if you're holding on to tension through your pelvis, through your glutes, your legs, just letting any tenseness just gently relax. Any clenching, just let it go. We'll bring our hands together in front of our heart as we get ready for our practice. Take a nice brisk rub with our palms. See if you can get that energy building up, get that warmth building up between your hands as that energy rises. And then placing those palms over our eyes as we open our eyes back to the light, taking our hands away and begin with our greeting of Namaste, love and peace. Thank you for being here. Let's uncross and recross our legs and going for a little bit of movement through the neck. So nice circles, chin from the right shoulder circles all the way up and then down the left side. Let's take it for 2 more circles, keeping the shoulders relaxed. Taking your time with the movement. For our final circle. And when the chin comes back to your chest, go in the opposite direction from the left shoulder all the way to the right and down for 2 more circles, taking your time, keeping your arms and shoulders relaxed. Nice long breaths, bringing that chin back to the chest, and then bringing the head back to center. If few rounds of seated cat-cow. As we inhale, draw the shoulder blades back and start taking the navel further out and tilting the tailbone slightly, so really stretching the navel forward. And then as you exhale, drawing the navel in as we round up the spine, round up between those shoulders. Inhaling again, opening up, gazing up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, the chin to the chest, stretching back. 2 more times, nice big stretch on the inhale. And a nice big stretch back on that exhale. Final round. Just getting some flexion and extension through that spine. And then come back to center. And we'll just do a few shoulder rolls, loosening up any tension in those shoulders. And then in the opposite direction. And then come back to center. We'll just get a little bit of movement through the hips as we come into butterfly, soles of the feet together, Baddha Konasana. And just gently moving those knees up and down. Just letting go of any tension in the pelvis, in those hips. Creating a little bit of movement, releasing tension in the spine. Staying up nice and tall. And then just slow that movement down. And we'll come to a stop and come onto our hands and knees as we just take our cushion or block to the side. If we've been sitting on one, bring those hands underneath our shoulders, wrists underneath shoulders, knees hip distance apart. We're going to go back into extended child's pose. So sit bones to the heels, arms stay reaching out in front. And as we inhale, start bringing ourselves forward. Chest comes down towards the mat. And we scoop it up into a baby cobra, and then full cobra. And then go back into child's pose. And just a few rounds here, scooping through, rooting down through the hands as we lengthening back. 3 more rounds. Keep connecting through those hands. Use that top of the body to support you. Root down through the feet. 1 more time. Back into child's pose. Release those arms, relax the shoulders for a moment. And then coming into tabletop again, bring the hands back in front as we come onto our hands and knees and take a step through with our right foot between our hands. And just take a little moment to shift that knee slightly back so we're getting a stretch in that hip flexor. And we're going to move backwards and forwards with that right leg. So bending and straightening that leg, loosening up the knee and hip. You may need to adjust your hands just to support you. Just lubricating those joints with movement as we hold it back in a half split. A nice stretch for the hamstrings, flexing that foot up. Really flexing it up and try and draw that leg into the hip socket. Again, you may need to move your hands to support you. Try not to fall into the opposite hip as I was doing a moment ago. Keep yourselves nice and steady. Hips stay nice and stacked high. And just keep drawing that leg into its hip socket. Take a few breaths, relax. Notice if you're tensing up. And then release back to center. Left hand next to the right foot. Right hand up as we twist. A little chest open up. Making sure your knee stacked over your ankle of that right leg. Bring that arm back down. We're going to step into down dog. First down dog of the day. Tucking the back toe under. Keeping the knee soft for a moment so we can get a nice stretch up through that spine. Tilting the tailbone up towards the ceiling. Root down through those fingers. Flattening out the top of the back. Relax out that neck. And then bring the knees back down as the left leg comes through this time. Again, shift that right knee slightly back for that hip flexor stretch. And then placing your hands for support, moving backwards and forwards. Loosen up that hip. Into that half split as we take the weight back, shift the foot up, flexing it up. Draw that leg into its socket. And keep the hips nice and square. Take a few breaths, releasing any tension through that pelvis, through the glutes. Good. Good. Release it back to center again. Right hand this time to the side of the left foot as the left hand goes up, checking knee and ankle. And then gently release into a forward bend, stepping through. Let's root down through those feet. Halfway lift brings the hands to the shins, lengthening the spine, gazing ahead. Next breath, let's roll those shoulders and come all the way up. Hands come back to the heart. And continue to root down through your feet. I'm just going to take this off now, feeling a little bit warmer now. Keep that equal weight. All four corners of the feet. Just feel yourselves connecting through your feet. Knees are soft, hips are soft. Interlace those fingers, palm tree, as the hands go up towards the ceiling, softening the shoulders into a swaying palm tree to one side. Staying nice and lifted through the side of the body. Chest stays lifted, arm over the side, over the ear. Hips are square, shoulders are square, rooting down through both feet. Come back to center and to the other side on an exhale. Again, staying nice and long through the side of the right body. Coming back to center, interlacing fingers behind the back, opening up the chest as we draw those shoulders back. Again, notice if your ribs are already popping out and you're arching your back, just draw the ribs in so we get that core nicely engaged, supporting us into Yoga Mudra. Soften the knees, forward fold. Letting those arms guide you over into that forward fold, making sure we're not losing the neck into our shoulders. We're staying nice and long through the neck. Keep squeezing those shoulders together as we open up the top of the chest. Next breath, let's start coming up. Use those arms to bring you all the way up. And then release. Coming into Warrior Two, right foot coming towards me or to the same side, and then left foot 90 degrees to the front foot, heel to heel, heel to heel or heel to instep as we coming into Warrior Two. Relax those shoulders. Reverse Warrior, right, left hand down as right one goes over the head. Continue to press into that right leg as it'll want to start straightening up. Open up those side ribs. And then come back to center, T arms into triangle as we straighten the right leg, reach, pop the left hip out and drop. Right arm down, left one up. Trying to stack shoulder above shoulder. Keep reaching up towards the ceiling, reaching down. Chest stays nice and open. Again, shoulders more or less lined up with ankle, so we're not coming forward. And it's not about how far you can come down, it's more about how open we're staying. And then let's start coming up, reversing again, inhaling, bend that right knee, flipping it over. And exhaling back to center into triangle, straighten leg, reach and drop. Keep rooted down through those feet, keep lifted up through that pelvic floor. One last time, coming up, reversing the warrior. Exhaling and reaching and dropping. Good, nice big reach up, reach down, and then bring that top arm down to join the bottom one. Bend that front knee, hands on either side, turn the back toe, step down, down dog, back into down dog, and then shift that weight forward. We take a flow, knees to the mat, scoop the chest all the way through into a baby cobra. If your back feels okay and warmed up enough, full cobra. Tuck the toes under back to down dog. We're going to step that same right foot between the hands. Left foot comes slightly in, drop that back heel. So it's more at 45 degrees to your front leg. Bend that front knee and come all the way up with nice squared hips into Warrior One. Keep rooting down through the back leg. And we're going to come into a revolve triangle. So straighten the front leg. Right arm, place the back of the hand behind your back. Left arm, start twisting. So we're going either to the inside or all the way across to the outside of that right leg as we twist. Left arm to the outside. Keep rotating that right shoulder back so the chest is opening out to the right side. If you can, maybe the right arm can go all the way up, just depending on how open your chest is. Keep rooting down through those feet. Take a few long breaths here. Try and get that top arm as straight as you can. And then release. Bring the right arm down, back into warrior one. Bend that front leg. Interlace those fingers. Open up the chest. And then release. We're going to come to center and just switching legs. So this time, take the left leg towards me or to the side. Right leg is 90 degrees into warrior two. And then reverse warrior. Left hand over the head. Continue rooting into that left foot. Root it up through that pelvic floor. Good. Come back to center. T arms and then straighten left leg. Reach and drop. Bottom arm down, top arm up. Just take a moment just to check your alignment. Everything feels comfortable. We're drawing those shoulders back towards each other. Chest is open. Room to breathe. Deciding where you want to look with your neck. And then let's do this 2 more times. Coming up, reversing the warrior. Rooting into that left leg. Come back to center as we straighten the leg. Reach and drop into triangle. Final time, coming up, gazing up as the arm goes over the head. Good. Coming up, next breath, straighten, reach and drop. And then bring that top arm down on either side of that front foot as we turn on the back toes and off we go down dog. And let's take that flow as we shift the weight forward, bring the knees down. Keep those elbows close as we scoop the chest into a baby or full cobra. Tuck the toes under, back to down dog. The same left foot steps through, and this time right foot 45 degrees behind as we come up, warrior one, with the bend right left knee and the hips square. So front hip forward, back, front hip back hip forward. Shoulders are relaxed. Let's straighten that left leg, coming in for revolved triangle. So left arm goes to the back. You can go straight into the pose and then start coming across with the right arm, either to the inside or the outside of the left leg. Keep rotating left shoulder back, opening up that chest, rooting up through those legs, and then if you can, if it feels comfortable, take that left arm up and continue to open and reach. Take a few long breaths, keep connecting down. And then let's release that top arm, bend the front leg, come back into warrior one. Good, release the arms. And let's open up both legs. And then we're going to come into a balance. So just walking those legs into each other and come into a balance. So let's take a bit of time, oops, there goes my balance, to root down through our legs. If we need to have a chair or go to a wall to help us with balance, so we can really get into the shape of the pose and not worry too much about wobbling around, and then we can build up to that. So getting the weight onto the right side, draw that navel in so we're nicely supported through our core and a nice long spine. We're going to soften the knee, come into a standing pigeon with the left ankle, just crossing it over just above that right knee. So continue to root through the foot, try not to collapse into the hips. Have the weight going back slightly as we bring the hands to the heart. If that feels comfortable, or you can continue with hands on the hips or hands to there or wherever you're holding on to. If you feel all right, you want to challenge your balance, you can start letting the weight go back. As we start bending that standing leg, we make sure we're not falling forward. So almost like we're coming into a one-legged chair pose. And bring the elbows to the outside of that bent leg. And now there's all other poses that you could go into from here, but we're just going to be challenging our balance here. So just take a few breaths. And then with control, start coming up again. Really engage those legs as we come up. Gazing at that one place that's not moving, and let's let go. Shake out your standing leg. We get ready to switch sides, get that core, switching it on, supporting us, waking it up, bend that left knee and bring the right leg across. Now sides are different, so just go with whatever's happening. No judgment. Gazing at that one place that's not moving, maybe not me because I am a little bit wobbly, but just find that place of concentration. Maybe press the palms into each other a little more energetically, a little bit stronger, just to open up the chest, give you a little bit more stability. Keep that core engaged. If you want that challenge, don't feel you need to have it. Oops, and there I go. You can start bending the standing leg, let the weight go slightly back so we're not falling forward. See if we can bring the elbows to the outside of that bent leg and just staying here. Sides are definitely different and balance is always different. Some days it's fine, other days it isn't. So just take what it comes. It's all about just being in the pose. And let's start coming up. With control, I'll blame the fly that's flying around me. I don't know where it's come from. And then let's release. Shake out the standing leg. Good. Shake out the arms if you need to into a wide-legged pose. So take a nice big step out either side. Root down through the outside of the legs. And the inside, just drawing them up and in and out. Up and out. Hands to the hips, hinging forward, lengthening that spine. Just feel like someone's pulling you through the top of your head, through the back, and just a nice long spine. Hands come to either side. A right angle pose here with wide legs. Keep rooting down through the outside edges of your feet so you're not falling in. You're not placing pressure on your knees. Trying to engage those inner thigh muscles. And then we're going to come into wide-legged down dog. So bringing the hands down onto the floor. You may need to bend your knees slightly or either get a block or some height in front of you. Just trying to get that flatness through the top of the back, that length through the arms, that tilting of the pelvis upwards, just like down dog, but with legs to the sides. If the knees are slightly bent, try not to let the knees collapse in. Keep engaging those legs out. And then walk the hands in towards you. We're going to take our hands over to the right leg, both hands to the right leg, wherever they land, calf, knee, and then just take a little stretch as the forehead goes over towards that right leg. You're stretching through the back of the right leg, side of the left body. And then come back to center and start walking to the other side. Left leg, we grab wherever the hands land. And then take the head to the knee. Stretch through the back of the leg. Through the side of the body. Good. Come back to center. Hang here just for a moment to release the shoulders. And then we're going to step into down dog. So wherever you need to go, either here, stepping side, or going to the side and stepping back. And just find your place in down dog or child's pose if you prefer. And we're going to take a little flow from here. So shift the weight forward. This time coming into chaturanga if you want to. If not, just come with your knees first. If we come in chaturanga, bend those elbows, dip the chest down, and then scoop it straight through. Baby cobra, full cobra, even up dog if you prefer. And then we're going to come into down dog. Nice big stretch. Onto our knees. And we're getting ready to come into camel. So coming up onto our knees. A couple of options here, depending on if you feel more comfortable, depending on your back. So you can go into the less strain on your back version. Sorry, words today. Hands are behind us, and all we're doing is lifting the chest, drawing the shoulders back into a little back bend. You could be, we will otherwise just start in baby camel to warm up the spine a bit more before full camel. Hands on either side of the sacrum, draw the elbows in, draw the shoulder blades back. We want to keep length through the front of the pelvis, so we keep length through the base of the spine, leading from the mid-back, from the chest, as we start tilting forward and then back. We're pushing forward with the hips and tilting back with the top of our body. Draw those shoulder blades into each other. Keep that neck nice and relaxed and long wherever you're looking, forward or back. Keep that length through the spine, so we're not just collapsing into the spine, we're keeping it lifted forward and then back. Take a few breaths. Keep those glutes relaxed. Next breath coming back up, and let's sit back down towards our heels. Relax the spine, draw the chin into the chest to relax the neck, and just draw the navel back, so we kind of just arching that lower back to relax it for a moment. And then come back to center, a little side stretch, left hand on the side, right one up and over. Stretching out the side of the spine as we come back to center, to the other side, up and over. And then let's come back to center. We'll go for another round, either staying, whichever version, if you want to go a little bit further into the full version of camel, either with the toes tucked under or the toes flat, depending on the flexibility of your spine. Taking our hands, you can go one hand back at a time, or just reaching back with both hands. Really draw those shoulders back and keep the base of the spine long so we're not collapsing. And go with your range of movement. So just be mindful. Keep pushing those hips forward so we're not collapsing. Keeping the chest lifted, we're nice and light through the body. Take nice long breaths. Keep the glutes relaxed as we keep lengthening the spine. Keep the neck relaxed. Keep that breath nice and long. And just for 2 more breaths if you can manage. If you can't, come up on an in-breath and relax. Next breath, let's come up one arm at a time. Sit back down, take that chin to the chest, round up the base of your spine. Just giving it a little stretch. Into rabbit pose with hands either side of the legs. Excuse me. And then just bowing the head forward. Try and get the top of the head close to the mat. Give that back a lovely little stretch. Take a few breaths through the back of the body. And then from here, we're going to go into bowing pose. So just still staying here in this bent position. Just bring your hands or your forearms in front of you, forearms on the mat, elbows are just to either side of just in front of the knees, just slightly wider, so they're as wide as your shoulders. We're going to get the top of the head and come and place it between the hands. So start lifting the hips up, bring your weight onto your hands, and then bow the head down. And just let the crown of the head come onto the mat, pressing the fronts of your feet into the mat, hands supporting you if you need the support. If you find the weight is too much, just getting used to it. And then maybe you can take the arms back and just totally relax in the pose. It's a really good pose for depression or insomnia. It also helps with memory loss. Well, with memory, it's really all those good things by bringing the blood oxygen to the brain. We'll take a few breaths here for maximum benefit. The longer we hold and it feels comfortable, the more time that oxygen has to travel up to the brain, renewing all those little brain cells. Let's take 3 more rounds of breath. Long, comfortable breaths. stay nice and stacked over knees. Good. Our next breath, let's start taking ourselves back. Take the sit bones to the heels. Let the arms relax into child's pose. Maybe take a bit of space between the legs and see if you can get the forehead resting on the mat and relax. Let the blood settle down again. And then let's take our time coming back up to seated, rolling up through our spine. Head coming up last. Good. And then let's come and sit on the mat. So coming to sit down into Dandasana. So a strong seated pose. So we want nice straight legs with feet flexing up towards the ceiling. Staying nice and tall. Again, if you want to sit on a cushion, especially if you do have any sciatica problems, just to give you a bit of relief through your lower back and through the sciatic nerve. Flexing, flexing, flexing. So we really want very engaged legs. So really flexing those feet up, rooting down through the calves, through the top of the legs, through the backs, really rooting down through those hamstrings, staying tall, drawing the navel slightly in, draw that spine so it's nice and long, chest opens up. So really energizing, energetic energy going through the bottom of the body and staying nice and lifted through the top half. Can have hands either side, really pressing down. It's just really connected again. Trying to keep the shoulders long and relaxed so you're not falling in. Keep rooting down through those sit bones, starting to feel the sit bones a little bit more. Keep rooting through the legs. You can maybe take the hands behind and grab elbows with opposite hands, or you may even bring your hands into prayer. And keep that chest open, keep rooting down. Try not to let go and relax. Very active, active, active pose. Keep pressing, flexing, opening up the chest. Just for a few long breaths. Whoever thought sitting could be so energizing. And then release the arms. Keep that energy through the legs. Take the arms up, keep reaching, reaching up as we're rooting down into an active forward bend. Start coming forward, let the shoulders soften back, let the hands land either side of your feet, your legs. Keep the feet still flexed for the moment. If you need to soften, just bend the knees slightly. Keep gazing at your toes. Keep the length through the spine, through the neck. Just for a few more breaths, really getting that length through the base of the spine. Next breath, relax the legs, relax into that forward bend. Let go of any tension in the neck and shoulders. And take a few breaths. Try not to let the ankles fall, still keeping them supported. Next breath, we come back up to seated. Just a few stretches if you are a runner, although you may not have been running too much like me, or a keen walker, just a few stretches as well to loosen up. So let's loosen up those hips. Take the right leg down the casa. So taking the right leg across the left and try and get that right heel as close to the side of your body as you can. Let me just switch myself over. So we're trying to get the heel here. Trying to get the knees stacked one above the other. Here is fine enough. If this pose is good for you, go for it. If you can, bring the bottom leg under and also bring that ankle close to you or slightly ahead or slightly more open. Keep the hips nice and square so you're not falling over. I'm slightly over to one side. I can always just bring a cushion just to adjust myself. And just stay here. That feels so much better. My hips are now nice and supported and I don't have to keep pressing over to that side. Take a few breaths just to relax out any tension in those hips. Hips always tend to get quite tight from running and also sitting. And then we're going to take a little twist whilst we're here. So with the right hand, start bringing it around that top leg, around that left knee, and then take the left hand behind you. Or have I said that wrong? I'm sorry. No, yeah, the right hand. Left hand's behind. And we're rooting down through that hand to stay up nice and tall as we twist into that twist. So that's a slightly more open twist. You go the opposite way and you go into a slightly more closed twist. So just depending on your back. Today I'm going for the slightly softer version. And then release. Come back to center. So you could have gone this way as well. And we're squaring off the hips, taking any support out of the way to the side, stretching the bottom leg, take the top leg over. Give your hips a little rub and we'll get ready to switch sides. So left leg goes over. You're going to try and get that ankle, heel close to you, get the knees stacked up, and then see how you feel. I'm okay on this side. If you need to have that leg straight, that's fine. And slowly, small building blocks. And we'll get there eventually. So today, being kind to the spine, taking a slightly more open twist. Let's take the left hand around that top left knee, and then take the right hand behind you. And then just twist as you exhale. Try and keep the hips square. And take the twist from the spine, the base of the spine. And relax the shoulders. Just for a couple of breaths. Inhaling, we're lengthening the spine. Exhaling, we're relaxing into the twist. Next breath, let's release. Come back to center. Again, release those legs. Straighten the bottom leg if you need to. Top leg comes over. And we're going to come into upside down, an upside down plank. So take the hands behind you. Fingertips towards you, to the side or back, whatever feels comfortable. If upside down plank is too much for you, you can come into upside down table instead. We're going to lift up the pelvis, or you can use the support of one of the legs. So maybe keep right leg straight, left leg bent, and we're going to root down through the hands. Take a nice big breath in, and then see if you can lift the pelvis up. Try and reach the toes to the floor, because that helps you lift up as you keep lengthening through the front of your body. Draw those shoulders back. Keep the pelvis lifted, a nice straight spine. Root down through those fingers so we're not collapsing into those wrists. And then release. Bring the pelvis back down. Take a moment. Flip those wrists over if you need to give them a little stretch. And we're going to go for another round. So if you've used one leg to support you, now just going with the opposite leg. So settle in, decide which version you want to go through, table or just half or full. Take a nice big breath in, root down through those hands, coming all the way up again. Reach those toes, reach, lengthen through the front of the body. Relax those glutes. Keep lifted, lifted, lifted. Try not to sink into your wrists. Also a reminder to myself, I get so into talking, I forget sometimes, and then release. Bring the hips down, flip those wrists over, maybe give them a little shake, and let's swing round into Cobra, onto the front of our body, starting in Baby Cobra. Again, you can place a cushion underneath your belly. Fingertips come under those shoulders, draw those elbows in. Root down through those hands. Elbows are nice and comfortable either side of the ribs, supporting that lower back. Baby Cobra, just lifting the top of the chest, bottom of the ribs, into the mat. Pelvis, roots to the mat. Quads, the feet. Take a few breaths. Keep the glutes relaxed. And the more apart the legs, the less intense. The more together, the stronger the back bend. Next breath, start coming up a little bit more. If you want to come into the full cobra, draw the shoulders back, draw those elbows. Don't feel you need to come up here. Just work with your own body. What feels comfortable for you. Make sure you're not losing your neck into your shoulders. Keep them drawn back. Stay nice and relaxed through the glutes. Pressing down through the front of the body. That's connected to the mat. You want to come even further and straighten the arms. Again, try not to lose the neck. We're still drawing the shoulders back, keeping that support either side of the body with the arms. And then let's release. Make a pillow with your hands. Give your back a nice little rock. And then we're going to come into child's pose. So coming back to center. Take those knees apart, toes touching, nice big stretch into child's pose. Give that back a nice big stretch. Take a few moments to connect to the back of your body whilst I adjust my clothes. And feel the breath up and down that spine. Inhaling, stretching up the spine. Exhaling, relaxing it out. Next breath, we come back up to seated. And we'll come and lie on our mats. We're going to do one last little pose for the core. So really getting that core nice and strong. We're going to come into boat pose. Bring the tips of our toes onto the floor. Bring the hands to either side. So a couple of versions. You can either just go with the legs, keeping the chest open, hands supporting you. Draw that navel in. Or you might be able to bring the hands to either side, or you might be able to go all the way down. So just pick whatever version works for you, and maybe start with one and then lead to the other. I'm going to do it a couple of times. So just holding here, keep the chest drawn back, navel drawn in, so we're protecting that lower back. Take a few breaths. And then release. And just sitting cross-legged for a moment, or however feels comfortable. Release any tension in the belly, in the core. And then let's go for another round. So again, bring the toes, find which place you want to be at, and then go straight into the pose. Keep drawing that navel in. Keep the chest nice and open. Take a few breaths. Starting to feel that shake. Feel that energy rising up as you're drawing in through the core, supporting us, getting into those deep core muscles. Keep drawing the navel in, and then lowering the legs if you can, and relaxing the back. Relax out the legs for a moment, and then we'll bring the knees up to the chest. Give the back a little rest, and the belly a nice little rock from side to side. As we come back to center, let's take the hands to our sides. And we're just going to circle our knees over to the right side, all the way around, and then back to center. 2 more circles. Give that back and belly a massage. Final circle. When the knees come back to center, let's drop them over to the right. And then adjust our shoulders and look to the left. So nice little supine spinal twist. The closer your knees are to your midline, to your waistline, the more intense the stretch. If you adjust the knees a little bit further away, it makes the twist not so strong on your back. So just take it where you need to be for a few breaths. And then bring ourselves back to center, bring the knees back, bring the chest back. We'll get ready to go to the other side. As knees come back to the chest, circle them left, all the way around. And again. For our final circle round. And when the knees come back to the chest, just drop them over to your left side. Adjust your shoulders and look to the right. Just for a few breaths as we continue, remembering the closer the knees are to your waist, the more intense the stretch. So maybe take them away a little bit further and just relax. Relax those shoulders for a few more breaths. And then come back to center. Bring the knees back up. Adjust those shoulders. Bring the knees up towards the chest. One final time. A little rock from side to side. And we're going to end our practice as we come back to center. Take our arms around our legs. Take a big breath in. Squeeze those legs into your abdomen, releasing your lower back, your spine. As we get ready to end in Shavasana, letting go of the legs, making space. Let the arms come out to the sides. You can either end in Shavasana, lying down, or you can end in seated meditation, seated. So picking your options. Take a few moments just to let go of any final bits of tension, any last lingering thoughts. And just relax. Let your feet relax. Let your legs relax. Pelvis relaxes. The trunk of the body relaxes. Let the arms relax. Face is relaxed. Breath is relaxed. Letting go of any thoughts. And just totally relax for the next few moments, completely relaxing. And I will leave you here in Shavasana. You do want to put on a bit of music just for the next few moments to continue relaxing. Otherwise, we'll end the practice together as we come back up to a comfortable seated position with hands together in front of our heart. Ending our practice with love by always thinking kind thoughts, saying kind words, doing kind deeds, and being kind to ourselves. And we'll rub those palms and place them over our eyes as we blink back into the light, and ending with Namaste. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you again.